Howdy folks, and welcome back to another Mile Arc. Today we have a long haul, at least a long haul for me, nearly 1,300 nautical miles. So if I figure Chicago is 400, and it's going to be like a 2.5 hour or even 3 hour flight time probably, with about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 or 9, well 9 VORs in between without air traffic control. And I'll explain what all those different things mean in a moment here, because we fly Slant Alpha, yada yada yada. So I foresee this video being 2 videos, or this flight being 2 parts. The reason why I see that happening is because we're gonna get up in the air and we're gonna have several hours of flight time, and I don't want to have a long pre-flight thing and then get in the air and have 5 minutes of flight time, sightseeing, and then land in one video. So it's probably gonna be 2. I should probably tell you what we're doing. If the title wasn't obvious enough of the video, we're doing a Mount Everest flyby. I'm going to clear out the weather, don't worry. It's real world weather, and it's visibility 1 mile. It's like clear visibility 1 mile. So we're going to clear it out so we can see the mountain. But we have done Mount Everest flybys in the past with tiny planes, medium planes, low altitude, medium altitude. Today we're going to fly by in a jet in high cruise altitude, 32,000 feet. Right? Flight level 320, I think I have written down. Yes. That's what we're going to do in the 727, because it's the only long-range jet I have and I use because I'm mostly a GA person. So, where are we? Well, in India, of course. We are going to start at Victor Indigo Delta Papa, which is Indira Gandhi International Airport, and then we're going to fly pretty much due east to Victor Echo Mike November, which is Dibrugarh Airport in East India. So pretty straightforward on the map. I selected some VORs so that we get as close to Mount Everest as possible, so it should be within rendering distance. I can't change my render distance like you can in Minecraft, but we should be pretty darn close. We should see it. We're gonna be pretty much eye level with it too, even at our high cruise. That's how big this mountain is. So that's what we're gonna do. It's a long flight because I needed an airport where we could take off in this airplane and then get time to get to cruise and then have time to come down. There are closer airports we could have used, but we wouldn't get up to cruise, or we would have to descend before we get to the mountain. So I wanted to make sure we were at cruise before the mountain, steady level cruise, and then descend after the mountain. So that gets us 1,300 nautical miles, give or take. I have 1278 written down, and I have a day to do it. And because I'm flying Slant Alpha, I cannot do what most jet people do, where they program the FMS, take off, walk away for several hours, and come back. We can't do this in this. Every 20 minutes or less, I need to be in the airplane changing my VORs. I'm not going to keep every single VOR change in the video. That's too much. But there'll be some in there. I might keep some in without commentary during the sightseeing part. Or I might just edit those out and just sightsee. I don't know. I have top descent calculated 250 nautical miles out. That is based on traveling about 8 miles per minute, having to come down 31,000 feet at 1,000 feet per minute. It's 31 minutes to descend. So 31 times 8 gives me 250, give or take. And that's a rough estimate. So I have that calculated. I have on my flight plan, which actually maybe I'll insert a picture of my flight plan, how I do this, just because I do it manually, completely manually. I have Everest marked, so I make sure I get that in sightseeing. So anyway, that's the plan. That's how the videos are going to work. First thing we need to do is clear out this weather so we can see the mountains. So we're just going to come up here and pick this and come in here. And no, not coming here. We're just going to come back, boom, and then make it cirrus. So we keep the cirrus layer. We're going to be above the cirrus. Yeah, let's go above the cirrus layer. It may make the mountain look kind of funny. But let's do it anyway. Apply changes. I hope to be taking off by 7:15 a.m., by the way. There we go. Nice and bright. That's even screenshot worthy. I know Northwest Airlines isn't going to fly in India. Northwest Airlines doesn't exist anyway. But I decided to use it because I found this livery and I haven't used it yet. I'm like, forget it. This is going to be a plane that they sold to India, I guess, and they're going to fly across India. It's funny though, Northwest, at my old job, the phone number used to be the Northwest hotline for something, and they reused the number, and I kept getting calls for Northwest all the time, even though it was like 20 years ago or something. I don't know, when I was a kid. Alrighty, so we are all set up inside. It's gonna get loud. We have the air cart turned on and external power turned on. If you look up here, the cockpit's light, the pilot's lights never turn on until the airplane is started. I don't know if that's on purpose, but that's what happens. This is the newest version of this aircraft with the Rain Man update, which I don't need to worry about any of that stuff today because it's not raining. All right, so just looking around, enjoying everything. We're not gonna have to worry about lights too much because it's gonna be daytime the whole time. So what do we need to do? We need to do passengers, fuel, and cargo. What's this one do? Well, that's your V card. Passengers, fuel, and cargo. We are going to have quite a bit of first class today. Not so many people in the rest of it, though. A couple people in the bathroom. Cargo. You got to make sure everything's in the middle. There you go. And this person needs to move up here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I think we're good. Trip distance 1278, and I'm going to screw up, and I always screw up. So we are going to increase our fuel. It says here trip distance 1001. We are going to go way up to like 1500 because I screw up all the time. All right. Well, now this person has to move to the back. They'll be fine. All right. What do we need to do? Come back here. No, we don't. We need to close this thing. Battery. I got the wrong one. Battery on. Thank you. Drift APU. I gotta get my preset sheet out. 20 presets again. If you don't know how to set up 11 through 20, I have a video on that on the channel. APU's down here. Okay. What do we do with this? It's been a long time. We want to trip it. It says first, trippy. Start the APU. I guess you hold it down for a second. Is it starting? Yes, it is. This is right headed out. The startup warm-up thing. All right. While we're waiting for that, we can turn the light things off. Whoop, not that one. Is it this one? It's down to go off. Okay. All right. Good enough. Now we need to field and generator to close. Field to close and generator to close. And then we can turn external power off if I did this right. And there we go. Lights are still on. So we did something right. Okay, good. Beacon lighting, etc. Let's see. Where are lights? Logos on. Wing on. Beacon. Navigation would be at the end of the runway, or do I have it to do it now? Let me check, because each one we do slightly differently, because company rules would be different. Okay, we will do that. Oh, we're going to do nav right when we start to taxi. Okay, so this one comes off too, it says. And that one. Okay. Interior gauge panel lighting, don't need to worry about any of that, because, I mean, it's light outside, right? Don't have to worry about any of the lights. No smoking and seat belt. Where are you? There's no smoking. And here's seat belt. There we go. Emergency lights armed. Stall warning test. Then normal. Window heat on. And APU bleed. 2 switches. Oh, that's right. They're all open in this version. Confirm open. Cooling doors. Confirm open. Brighten light switches if needed. Don't need to. Disconnect GPU and air cart. You'll hear it wind down. And it'll get quieter. But everything should still be good. How come our PSI is still 0? Why is our PSI 0? Over here. Something's not working. Because we can't start engines if we don't have PSI. What's going on? Check PSI decrease, but it's not supposed to be 0, is it? I guess I've never actually noticed that. Again, this airplane's been updated many, many times. It's still version 3, but within version 3, it's been updated many times, and I haven't read every single change log. So, we'll see what happens here in a minute. DC meter, switch to ESSTR, should be automatic, and it is. Gasper fan on. Right AC pack on. Air pressure. Set cruising altitude 32,000, and we go 1,000 above. Set landing altitude was like, I forgot to get the exact number, it was like 361 or something in that area, so let's just do 400, why not? Switch to ground, and it is. Cabin altitude, okay. Flight plan stuff, this is bothering me, the PSI. Anyway, flight plan stuff. Okie dokie, bunch of VORs. We'll set up the first 2. So, our first VOR is 112.4. Let's see how much of this I remember. I was going to practice first, but this is such a long flight. I'm like, I don't have time to practice. Oops. Alright, so let's see here. It's inside one, isn't it? Okay, next one is 1510. So this goes to 1510. And then this one goes to 14.7. And if you haven't seen me do slant alpha before, I'm not saying I do it the right and only way, but I do it what seems to be okay, I guess. I've had people with experience tell me that my slant alpha video with tutorial, the only one on YouTube, which is an hour long or something, they said it was fine. So I just keep doing it my way. So we're going to fly to the first VOR, and then we put the second one in so that when we come up here, it shows up down here with DME, if there's DME, or at least it spins around over here. So then we know we can get to it. So then once we can get to it, we know there's an intersection. We calculate the intersection, but I don't have those calculated because there's only one intersection. Otherwise, it's direct VOR to VOR, which makes it easy. If they're an intersection, we would say 30 miles from this one and 75 miles from this one, we switch or something. But we're not. We only do that once, and that's actually by the mountain. So we head towards 112. We leave and head towards 115. Oh no, we can pick it up because 2 will have it. So then I can flip this over and then go to the next VOR, and then flip this over to the next VOR. So this over here, nav 2, tells me when we can see the next VOR. Nav 1 is what our autopilot is going to follow. I think that makes sense. I've never explained it that way before, but hopefully that makes sense. These are 4-hour VORs. It should be in VOR position. It's not labeled, but that should be VOR. This would be ADF position like this. This is VOR position, I think, if I remember right. Where's my co-pilot side? Don't I have a co-pilot side? I guess I don't. These then are the opposite. This is DME 1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's VOR up, ADF down. I guess I've never really changed them. I've never needed to. We'll find out. When we're flying around, I'll go like this, and we'll see when we lose them and stuff. But this will come in handy at landing too. Oh, I need to talk about the landing then. No ATC, so we're just going to follow VORs for like 3 hours. Top of descent, I have that calculated when to land then, because we don't have weather on, I don't need to worry about the runway, because I want to see the mountain, so there's no weather. We don't have ATC, and I couldn't find an ILS, I couldn't find an approach plate. I'm really bad about international approaches, so what I have is if we approach the last VOR at 50 degrees, it should line us up pretty much straight up with runway 5, because the VOR is at the airport on the last runway. Or the VOR, the last VOR is at the airport. So if we approach at 50 degrees, it'll get us within the ballpark. Once runway's in sight, we'll make adjustments if we need to. In the meantime, the last VOR will be in VOR 2 or nav 2, so I can see it here. So the arrow will always point at the VOR, which in this case is the airport. Not always. Sometimes the VOR is not at the airport, and it's very tricky without ATC, but we've done it. So this will point to the airport essentially at the end. So if we get lost, we can just use this to point at the airport. Piece of cake. Should be pretty easy, actually. I say that now. Alrighty. So that's your flight plan stuff. That's just how it is. Where am I on my list, though? Where am I on my list? Autopilot altitude. Just going to shoot us just right up to 32,000. Don't need to step up. Okay. Altimeter barometer doesn't matter because we don't have weather on, so that's 299 or 2. Close rear doors does not apply. We have a jetway. Shift F1 will get your rear doors to come down, though, if you need to. Turn on the 8 fuel pumps. Ooh, that sun is blinding us here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn off the AC packs. We still don't have any pressure. All bleed valves confirm open. Open, 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 open. Accept high altitudes. Leave 1 and left. Check for 30 psi. We don't have any psi. We don't have any psi. Why? Normally we do our pushback now and then start our engines, but I want to see if our engines are going to start before we do pushback. I have a lot of lights on that I normally don't have. Anyway, let's ground that out. Come down here, 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 here. Where's my preset for my engines? Where's my engine preset? Weird. I don't know. Let's just go like this. Okay, it is climbing though without PSI. That's weird. Why are we working without PSI? I go to 25 and then you turn it on, right? Add fuel when it gets to 25. Okay. It's working. But why can't... Where's my preset? I found it. It's F. Among all the different airplanes, I try to keep my presets the same. But obviously in this one, it's very different than the others. Because it has to be... Okay, now they have one engine going. You still have any PSI. Either that's broken in this version, something's gone. Something's wrong. I'm going to ask on the Discord. Something is not right about that. Because we should have been able to start an engine at 0, and it should be going up. It should change with all these bleeds and everything. That should be spinning around and doing things. And it's not. So, okay. I don't know. Let's start our pushback. Let's see if I can remember how to do this pushback. Plugins, better pushback. Pre-planned pushback. Can I zoom out? No. How come I can't zoom out? Move view. I want to zoom out. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to go like that, and then we're going to go like this, right? I want to get to my thing out. It's off screen. I want to get there. Anyway, we're going to go like this, and enter to accept.
All right, Captain. Got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
I'm ready now. Start pushback. Is that going to work?
News, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Good. Okay. Let's start engine 2, even though we're really close to the gates. Hopefully we don't get in trouble. Let's start engine 3, I guess. We're going to do, what was it? 2, 3, 1 in this case. Yeah, it's spinning up. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that PSI thing, though. It's 22, 24, and 25. I do notice that these are moving so slowly. Okay, so now what? Oh, you got to do your thing. Yeah, you do your thing. We've watched this animation before, so we're not going to sit and watch it. We're just going to keep starting our engines. They'll tell us when to do the parking brake and all that, right? Parking brake is on, yeah.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected. Bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Alrighty, first of all, we're going to get her this, and then we'll do the parking brake. And they should be we're pushing us back now. What did he say? I was talking over him. He's going to push us now. There we go. Engine's already running. And what else was I going to say about that? Nothing. Other than engines are already running. So we're just going to push us back. Calmly and quietly. That truck's not going to stop. Oh, yes, he is. He doesn't want to, though, just like the stop signs by my house. And there's our turn. Very cool. Alrighty, so we got to jump up front here. Oh, wait, let's look at that. Let's enjoy the sun reflecting off. Val's work. The texturer Val dudes. Okay, so first thing we need to do is you're going to approach VOR 112.4 at 107 degrees. So let's set this to 107, probably faster if we go this way. I guess it doesn't really matter. Now, as far as flight time, in real life, I'm going to have to pause this a couple times to take care of, real life things. So I can't look at a real clock to get the real flight time. And the sim clock does weird stuff, like we'll be going for an hour, but it'll go like 20 minutes or something. It's very strange. I can't rely on this for flight time. I can't rely on my real life clock for flight time because I'm going to be pausing it a couple times throughout this flight. So I'm hoping with editing I can figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to figure out the flight time. We'll just have a really good guess. It's always going to be longer than it's supposed to be. My flights, if it's supposed to be 45-minute flight, it's an hour and a half. So if it's going to be like a 3-hour flight, it could take me, I might have to pause it and come back to the next day. I hope not. But I cannot let it run because I need to be present constantly. Is this thing still turning me? Oh yeah, that's kind of weird. I need to be constantly present to slant alpha this thing. Wow, look at that texturing job. This livery isn't his, but everything else is his, like the PBR and everything. Is he done yet? I didn't hear him say anything. Alright, moving along. Hydraulic A and B, we can't do it till he's done. So we're going to sit here till he's done. Is he waiting for me to set the parking brake? What's going on here? I set the parking brake. Let's see. I missed it. It was too loud. I set the parking brake. Maybe that'll take care of it. My APU is so loud. Or no, my engines are so loud. Free camera. Is he leaving us? Jeez Louise. There he is. I think he's waiting for me to set the parking brake. There we go. Disconnected hand signals. And there he goes. Alright, moving along to the next thing. Hydraulics A and B on. Hydraulics. Why am I forgetting where my hydraulics are? Hydraulic A on already. That's a change from version 2. And B, hang on, I gotta rearrange my paperwork. I'm bonking into things. I don't know why I have so much paper for computer stuff, but whatever. Close the 3 generator ties. Close, close, close. Both AC packs on. Hopefully they didn't swelter back there. Cargo heat to normal. External power to generator, which is not that one. This one. Essential power to generator. AC meters, top, bottom of overhead. Bus tie. Already is. Make sure there are no lights. And there are no lights. No lights. No lights. Those lights are fine. Those lights are fine. See, everything's lit up here now. Fuel heat off already should be. Bottom of column off, off, off. Next page. Overhead anti-ice. Where's that anti-ice? I have to learn how to use it. Don't know how. Probe heaters or pitot heat. Trip the APU. Oh boy, I get nervous at this part. Trip the APU. And off. You should hear a wind down. Everything should stay running. Sure looks like it. I did something right. Okay. Pressure switch from ground to flight. Where are you? You're on this one. Ground to flight. Cabin pressure. Auto. Let's keep it all auto. Gas fan off. Air bleed closed. Oh no, I got a little bit of PSI. I still don't understand why it's like that. I gotta look that up in the Discord. I gotta ask around for that. Check reference and speed air bugs. So somewhere I have a preset for this. Actually, that's something else. Let's just do this. Let's do V card. Take off. Flaps 20. 123. I hit set bugs. No, set them 123. There we go. And our flap schedule is right here. Or down here. There it is. I kind of have that memorized. Just get the flaps up and don't overspeed and don't start on fire. All right. TCAS. I have a preset for that. I know. What is it? R. TCAS. Turn that on. On. That's weather radar. TCAS weather off. I think it boots up. What else is there to do? I don't know. We don't need to use it anyway. Taxi lights on. Where are you, taxi lights? Taxi lights on. Don't really need those, but we'll do it. No, blah, blah, those ones on. Auto brakes rejected takeoff. And start the flaps and start the taxi. So we don't have any weather to worry about. Because I turned it off. So let's see. What do we want to do for runway? Let's go straight into the right and just take off on runway, whatever that's going to be. It's probably going to be... that might be 10 or 11. Probably. So we'll just zigzag to the right and take off there. Okay. What was flaps 20 it said, right? That's what we're aiming for, flaps 20, which is how many on the dial? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Flaps are coming down. Get comfortable in my chair. Parking brake is off. Start rolling. And nearly half an hour into this thing. And we're going. Don't feel too badly. A lot of people who do an FMS flight and all that, it takes 45 minutes to get going. So that's just how these videos work. The reason I mention this is because I've been getting comments that my videos are too long. But, oh well. Watch them at double speed then. Alright, so let's see. Flaps are down twice. Flaps are coming down a third time. And I don't know the airport. I don't have ATC. So we're just going to kind of zigzag through here like I said. I think we're headed to right here. I think. That's just my best guess. I really want to spin around and look at this airport. I'm sure somebody did an amazing job. But somehow we have to taxi. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Let's try to taxi like this. Think we can do it? I should do like free camera, but then I'll lose the airplane. Oh boy, that's hard to do from out here. I guess this way we'll just get a view of everything. And flaps one more time. Whoops, I just bumped it up, so now we're going to have to check. And let's slow down. And let's try to stay on the taxi. Oh, we're going so fast we can't turn. Because it's hard to see how fast you're going when you're this far away. Oh, there's a tower view, right? What's tower view? Not that. That's not tower view. If it is, the tower's in a weird spot. Oh, that was tower view. The tower's just in a weird spot. When you model your airplanes, I think I'm pretty sure you can set the tower view. And this person should have paid attention to that when they modeled the airport. I'm pretty sure you can. Because right now the tower's just over the sidewalk, over the fence. Alright, let's try to get back on track. This is really hard to do from up here. Because you have no idea how fast you're going, and then you go too fast to make corners like that. Come on. There we go. This is kind of a fun way to do this, though. The runway is plenty long enough, so we're just going to go straight and join the runway right up here. And they're telling us to go all the way onto the runway. So let's hop inside and get our other stuff ready to go here. And the runway flaps confirmed 20. Yes, landing lights on. I've been told you keep the taxi lights on in this aircraft. Check the flaps. Yes, green band for trim. I think if you click on it, it trims for you. Yep. So we are now ready. Get my mouse out of the way. We're now ready to take off. So we'll come out here and we'll just roll right out and roll on. Note the time on the clock. We're going to try. It's 7:25. That's what it says. We'll see how accurate that stays. 97% for takeoff. That's right where the yellow starts. If you can see it, there's a little yellow band there. And 92% before it blows up. Alrighty, here we go. The rest we'll worry about once we're in the air. And autopilot setup we used to do now, but we don't until we're in the air because you can't do it now. Whoops, I just bonked the microphone. Sorry, hopefully that didn't Sound too awful. Here we go. We are rolling. We're at what? Well, that's over 100. Let's back up a little bit. 97. We would use 100 if we had a short runway. You can use it. Oh yeah, plenty of runway. Gosh, we're barely gonna use any of it. Here we go. Ease back. Don't tail strike. Nice. Get those flaps in quick. There we go. We got to stay below 250 till we're at 10,000 feet. We will hand fly this for a while because it's fun. We happen to be going the direction of our VOR, so that's good. And I got flaps in a little early, but that's okay. We're looking good. We have a very steep climb. Everything is fantastic. I am hand flying. Let's keep it goosed a little bit here. Let's trim down a little bit. I want to try to get up to 250 because our flaps are in, so we can. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Very cool. Once we get this stabilized, I want to do a replay of the takeoff. And we don't do that very much. In fact, let's do that right now. Let's do a replay takeoff replay or whatever. All right, I want to apologize. I did not have the tower view before. I was looking at something else. So the person who did this did put the tower in the right spot. I don't know what view that was. I'll have to see what view I was actually doing. But there we are. We're rolling it out. Actually, roll out is when you roll out your landing. We're rolling it up, rolling it in. There we go. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love this plane so much. I just don't use it very often because it takes like half an hour to get started and everything. The gear coming in. Smooth frame rates with full settings cranked, except anti-aliasing because it's not needed. And look at that. And there we go. Let's head back to real time and enjoy this flight. Alright, so jumping back out of replay screwed us up a little bit. So we got to figure out what we're doing here. We just shot like straight up in the sky. Good grief. Oh, come on. Okay, localizer being picked up. We could use autopilot. Well, that's not quite yet. Let's try to get this thing up to 250 first. Let's bring this back to 92 already. Just for right now, we'll adjust that as we go. Let's get our trim going. We really got to figure out. We got to get back on track. That's one reason why I don't always like doing replays, is because it screws you up sometimes. Yeah, we're still shooting straight up in the sky. Good grief. Come on, come back down. All right, let's head towards our VOR. Now we're coming down. Okay, let's head towards our VOR and hand fly this thing a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. But we can't look. We got to fly this plane. Okay, let's level off. We're 26 miles out. And then once we cross this VOR... Actually, let me do a few things here. Let me turn that off too. Once we cross this VOR in 20 some miles, 25 miles, I guess. Oh my gosh, we're still shooting straight up. Good grief. That replay really screwed up everything in the airplane. That's normal though. It's not just this airplane. That's an X-plane thing. We want to leave the VOR at 90. So we're going to stay on the VOR radio, but we're going to leave at 90. All right, let's see here. Are we under control yet? We're almost under control. We could just fly like this, technically. That needle getting closer, sort of. I'm not terribly worried about it. All right, let's see. We're almost at 250. What did I say ultimate cruise was? 280. We're still. Good grief. Trim this down. Now, look at this. We're shooting straight up in the sky. Man. Okay. 280, I said, right? Let's move this to 280. Now we're getting control of this thing. After that replay, or we got to turn back in because they're lined up. So I'm moving this to 280 while I turn the airplane to line us up with their VOR. Inbound. And roll out the turn. There we go. And then there's a whole heading versus tracking thing where we might be heading one way, but we're actually tracking a different way because of wind, but it shouldn't matter too much. We don't have wind turn on. And let's not go above 250. Well, we can now. Boom, 10 grand. All right, landing lights off. And this can come off. Let's get autopilot going. Let's do IS. Oh, we got to engage it first. See, it's different. And I'll do that. Do Alt and do Nav. Nav lock, altitude, and IS. Oh, no. IS is up here, guys. Hello. IS is up here. Why is it going the wrong way? What in the world? Very strange. Now it's coming down to catch us up. And we're following the VOR, and because it's blue, that'll turn blue at 32,000. Good grief. I'm doing it right. I know I am. I know this airplane very, very, very well. We're at 91.5. That's good. If we come back here, all this has to stay in the green, and it is right here. See this? If you go above 92, that starts on fire. That's what causes your fires. Okay, so let's just do a checklist quickly, and then we'll do VOR change, and we're going to do some sightseeing. And like I said, I might jump in for some narration during some VOR changes, but I might not. Who knows? But I was saying we have not picked up the next VOR yet. See, so down here, we have not picked up 115.10. However, there it turned out. Oh, I see. They're lit up, and the lights weren't on. So yes, VOR is up. This is 2. ADF is down. I was right. Okay. Let's see. Gear off. Yes, auto brakes off. Auto packed cutout, which I think it already does in this version. Yeah, adjust cooling doors towards closed, so everything stays 40. Well, it's cooling or open and it's almost 100, so we're going to leave the cooling doors the way they are. Attach barometer to standard 18,000. Doesn't apply in our case. Seatbelt off at cruise. No, when you fly with me, you never turn your seatbelts off. Okay. Nothing now till landing, because that's our takeoff and cruise checklist. The only cruise thing is seatbelts off. Seatbelts on before you descend. Okay, so I'm just going to do some VOR changes. Let's do the first one together. This one is starting to go up now because we're so high in the sky. So now we need to do 90 out. So what we do, well, normally if you do a VOR change or radio change, we do heading, but we don't need to do heading because it's the same radio. So we're just going to do 90 out. It's going to S-curve us. What we should do is just hold the heading. Let's do that. Well, it doesn't matter now. What I could have done was use the heading, and then it would just go straight until it caught it. And now it's just going to zoom us over there. That's fine. It's primitive. That's okay. So there you go. I don't know how many miles till the next VOR because we're not even picking it up yet. There may be a Mia gap too, where see now it's going to zoom us the other way. I should have just kept the heading bug after all, and then the heading bug would have kept us straight. And then when it started to move, then I'd use VOR lock. Doesn't matter. Would have been smoother, but this is fine too. So there could be a Mia gap, which means we lose this VOR before we pick up the next one. So what I do is once this gets stabilized is I'll move our heading bug so that if that happens, I just switch autopilot to heading. There we go, VOR passage. Now it's going to zigzag again because of VOR passage or crossage. I'll use this to hold us, and then I'll come down here if I have to and do heading hold while we pick up until we pick up the next VOR. That's it. So I'm going to do a little bit of sightseeing, and then when we reach cruise, I'll jump in with narration and probably do one more VOR with you, maybe 2. And then from there, it'll just be sightseeing. When we pass Mount Everest, I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. At some point, the video will break. You'll see it to be continued across the top, and then next video, from previous video across the top. And that's it. It's not difficult to fly this plane. This is probably my favorite plane, but I still prefer GA because it's shorter and via VFR stuff and hand flying stuff. But this is very relaxing. Once you get to know it, it's stressful in the beginning, but once you get to know it, it's fine. So there you go, 19,000 feet. We're going to S-curve again until we catch this VOR because it's a primitive radio. And I'll catch you at cruise. Enjoy the sightseeing in between. Hopefully things render in for us here. Alright, so we're going to be coming up on our cruise altitude pretty soon. And then what's going to happen is I'll select will turn blue. This will release. That'll turn, I think that turns green. And then this will release. And this will shoot up. So we just have to watch overspeed, which at 32,000 feet, I don't think we're going to overspeed, but you never know. You got to be careful. At 29,000 feet, though, we're supposed to switch over to Mach hold instead of IS hold. So let's do that in a moment here. Is that even on my list? I don't think so, because I normally fly at 29,000 feet because my flights are normally so short. So let's come up here now and let's do Mach hold like this. And then that should hold us till we get our altitude. I believe it should hold. Shouldn't screw anything up. That should stay about the same. This should climb. And we'll check it at 32. Otherwise, next thing now, we have our next VOR picked up. And because we don't have an intersection, and it's going to be pretty much the same, it's going to be the same radial, we can just switch over to the other VOR. So let's come down here. And let's do heading and hold, just because there might be some discrepancy. And we would make an adjustment here. But we don't need to, because it's going to be 90 inbound. Right, let me just double check. Yep, 90 inbounds. Let's come back down here. Where am I? Let's switch our radio and just make sure. Yeah, see, it's going to be way off here because it's. Oh, see, never mind. Never mind. There it comes. Let's let it come. Close enough. Let's go like this. And then that's lit up. So we can come back down here. And let's go back to Navlock. It might want to be a little more aggressive than me. So we're going to S-curve a little bit. So it's not really an intersection. We're just kind of like scooting over a little bit because the VORs aren't quite lined up perfectly. Yeah, I want to be more aggressive than me. That's fine. Anyway, once it stabilizes again, we'll use our heading bug just in case we lose it, which we're not going to because we see it. That's pointing towards it. And that's almost 32,000 feet. That looks like it's holding well. Let's head back down here then. And let's switch this to the next one, right? Because we have DME up here. So now the next VOR, a whole bunch of emails. Okay, let's see here. Let's get this set up. So we're heading towards 115.1 now. Let's then get 114.7 ready to go. This will tell us when 114.7 is ready to go. After 114.7 is 113.2. There we go. That's it. That's a VOR change. The only thing I have left to do, like I said, is double check my work, which I'm going to do now. Looks good. And last thing to do then is set my heading bug once that's all stabilized. Coming up, we're almost at 32,000 feet. We're really close here. There's our horn. And there's 32,000 feet, so our alt select turned blue there, which means it should click off any second here, which should happen as soon as it actually gets to 32,000, and then this will start climbing. So it should click off. There you go. Clicked off as we were changing camera views. So this will climb. So all I have left to do is when this stabilizes is set my heading bug to match in case we lose something, and then keep track of my throttle so we don't overspeed. And then at 118 miles, we're going to, well, less than that because we're so high in the air. When this gets down to so like 110 miles basically, we're going to just change this to 110. And then once we pick up the next VOR, we'll switch over to that one. And so on until we come in for landing. So I think that is it for me in terms of narration. I'm going to try to keep in as much sightseeing as I can. At some point, I'll split the video. And then I'll make sure when we go by Everest, I'll put it at the bottom. We're looking at Everest. And then you'll hear my voice in the next video probably. Maybe I'll say something in between. I don't know. Something might come up. But if everything goes as planned and everything is textbook, I'll do all my VOR changes. I might show them, but I won't talk, etc., etc. If everything goes textbook, I'm done talking for this video. You'll just see sightseeing, a little thing for Mount Everest, and then you'll hear me talk again at top of descent in the next video, and then we'll come in for landing. We'll see. Something might happen, and I might have to say something. But otherwise, I'm just going to do what I do for the next couple hours. And like I said, I can't walk away. I can't walk away and let the FMS do the work and come back. at landing. I cannot do that. I have to stay here the whole time and then pause it to do things like eat. So that's what I'm going to do. Yep, we're starting to climb. Good. We're starting to stabilize. Good. So I'm just going to watch my systems over here. Make sure nothing's overheating. I'm going to watch my speed over here. And I'll catch you in the next video. I'm going to try to upload the videos consecutive days. So I'll see you tomorrow at top of descent. Enjoy.